Stage 8, Oneness. Summer painted the landscape in hues of green and gold. Yet, in the heart of their home, a chilling winter persisted. Callum's morning kisses had become perfunctory, devoid of the warmth that once ignited their days. Sex, once a passionate embrace, was now a mechanical act, a hollow echo of their former intimacy. Well, for her at least. The house, once filled with laughter, was now a silent expanse. Dinners were solitary affairs, each lost in their own world. Ginger had retreated into herself, her spirit as desolate as the winter that had just passed. After his morning kisses that meant nothing to her anymore, Callum would then get ready and leave for the bakery. In her heart, she still loved him and missed him, but she had to protect herself. She no longer cried to him, and she no longer expressed her pain. Instead, she allowed things to run their course. Ginger's new home was the ancient willow. Hours would pass as she sat there, lost in thought, her mind a turbulent sea. Her days turned into a monotonous rhythm of solitude and reflection. Ginger immersed herself in books, seeking comfort in the worlds of others. Meditation became her anchor, a daily practice that brought her a semblance of peace. It was during these quiet moments, under the willow's watchful gaze, that she began to heal. The pain, though still present, was less acute. A flicker of hope, a tiny spark of resilience, ignited within her. A sense of peace washed over her, a calm acceptance of her circumstances. Throughout her journey, Ginger had never reached her destination, and she believed she had now. Her destination was not to be loved by others, but she needed to find a way to forgive her past experiences and love herself wholeheartedly. And she did. She found the love she was looking for. She spoke to her inner child and asked for forgiveness. How could I have wanted others to love me when I didn't even know or love myself? She thought, if I had truly loved and valued Sapphire and Ginger, I never would have allowed myself to be mistreated, not even for love. Love doesn't hurt. To love others, one must first love oneself. When love causes pain and inadequacy, it's abuse. Callum abused me. Chemist abused me. Everyone abused me. That means they must be struggling with loving themselves. A sad realization surfaced. God, I forgive anyone that has ever caused me pain. Please allow them to heal from whatever wounds are hurting them. On a cloudy afternoon, as she sat in quiet contemplation smoking a joint, a stray cat appeared. Its green eyes held a curious intelligence. As if drawn to her solitude, it curled up at her feet. Hi Garfield. You look like a female, but I'll call you Garfield because you remind me of him. Don't worry though, Garfield is a cool cat. The cat sprawled out in front of her, staring intently. She stared back, silently asking questions. Did God send you? If so, I appreciate the company. Are you hungry? She rummaged through her bag, finding a peanut butter sandwich. After breaking off a piece for Garfield, she hesitated before taking a bite herself. Once Garfield finished, it stretched out again, its gaze fixed on her. She started to talk to her guest. I'm a Leo, just like you, or at least a distant relative. It's my birthday tomorrow. Then Callum the following day. I'm doing better with you here. Thank you. She yearned to pet Garfield but hesitated, wary of its reactions. Yet, there was a trust forming, a silent acknowledgement that no harm would come. As their connection deepened, she felt a sense of peace. Ginger continued to sit in silence as she meditated. Garfield stayed with her the entire time. When her session ended, she opened her eyes, and Garfield was still there. When Garfield was preparing to leave, Ginger was filled with quiet contentment. The universe, it seemed, had answered her unspoken plea. As Garfield walked away, it stopped for a moment and looked back at Ginger. This time, it playfully stuck out its tongue at Ginger for a good 30 seconds or so, a mischievous glint in its eyes. A spontaneous laugh escaped her lips and she teared up. It was a moment of profound connection for her. For the remainder of the day, Ginger took a peaceful afternoon nap with her bag as her pillow. She had no reason to be awake to overthink or overconsider anything. She got the sign she asked God for. After her nap, she returned home, her spirit lighter than it had been in weeks. The house, once a tomb of loneliness, now held the promise of companionship. She prepared stew peas for Callum, her heart filled with a newfound hope. He had always wanted to try it, and today was the big day. Memories of them and his laughter and smile, and everything else about him filled her heart with butterflies and compassion as she cooked. "I'm not angry anymore," she affirmed to herself. As she stirred the pot, more memories of happier times surfaced, tempered by the harsh realities of their present. Yet, Ginger remained steadfast. She reminded herself. Hurt people hurt people. A profound empathy washed over her. Callum is hurting, she thought. But I don't understand why, and that is okay. After cooking up a storm, Ginger showered, set the table, and eagerly awaited her husband's return. When Callum stepped through the door, he was met with an unexpected warmth. She sprang from the sofa, enveloping him in a tight embrace, her kiss soft and filled with longing. "I've missed you," Callum murmured, his voice muffled against her hair, as he took in the scent of her freshly washed kinky curls and cocoa butter-scented skin. She felt his arousal. "I've missed you too, and I want you to know that I love you. You are the other half of my soul. In this lifetime and the next, despite our challenges. I will never not love you." Her eyes were fixed on his, she wanted him to see that the love never left. And he saw it. He did. Excitement bubbled over as they sat down to dinner. The aroma of the meal filled the air, a tantalizing promise of comfort. Callum's world lit up when he found out what the aroma was. Pigtail stew peas with white rice, and freshly made mango juice. Conversation flowed effortlessly, light and airy, a stark contrast to their recent silence. Ginger recounted her day, the encounter with the stray cat, and the strange sense of peace it brought. Callum's eyes lit up as she spoke. "You know," he began. "Egyptians believed cats were sacred, even linked them to extraterrestrial beings." His voice was filled with enthusiasm. Intrigued, Ginger listened, her imagination sparked. The idea of cats as alien beings was both absurd and fascinating. She knew she had to delve deeper into this peculiar theory. As the night deepened, their connection strengthened. At that moment, under the soft glow of lit candles, they felt a sense of wholeness, a rediscovery of the love that had once defined them. For the remainder of the evening, the happy couple played games with Mary Jane, drank wine with Mary Jane, engaged in high talks, laughed uncontrollably, made love passionately, and then resigned to bed. The following morning was Ginger's birthday. She woke up to find Callum's arms still wrapped around her. There was no rush to go to work. A reserved smile emerged on her face. "Happy birthday, Mrs. Sapphire Ginger Munro!" she screamed in her mind. Today was her day. Nestled in Callum's warmth, she observed the room. Framed memories adorned the walls, their trousers discarded carelessly on the recliner from last night's heated rush. "Today will be a great day," she affirmed. Her affirmation awakened Callum, who then showered her with kisses. He made a savory breakfast of pancakes, bacon and eggs, a bowl of mixed berries, and a glass of orange juice, her favorite breakfast combo. "No work today?" she asked while feeding her face. "Ah, yes, love. But I won't be long, ain't it? I will only be gone for a couple hours, then I am yours for the day. I need you ready by the time I get home. Wear something nice, I have a surprise for you." After their wake and bake session, Callum kissed his Ginger passionately and left for the bakery. "I love you, Ginger, see you later." "I love you more than you know, Callum." Like a child, she ran to him for another embrace before he vanished behind the door. Ginger spent her day the way she wanted to. She watched SpongeBob and anything that she found interesting. She had bake sessions with Mary Jane, and on occasions would gleefully open the fridge and sample Callum's array of treats he had baked for her. She ate chocolate and drank wine. Ginger had a blast, and then fell asleep. In the evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Ginger stood in front of the willow tree. Steadfast and enduring, it had become a symbol of her own strength. She went under the tree to her usual spot and penned a beautiful letter to her love Callum. Once she was done, she placed it in her bag and removed the rope she had hidden in it. She went around the back of the willow tree to fasten the rope on a sturdy limb. She swung the rope repeatedly until she got it right. Ginger then went for some large stones she could stand on. All was set. She was ready. She prepared for this. And she spoke to her God in this form for the last time. God, I'm ready. You know my heart, my intentions. For the first time, I am doing something that feels right. I am at peace. Endowed in a white silk strapless dress, Ginger made her way to the rope and found freedom under the willow tree. Callum was a few minutes too late. Upon realizing she was not home, he looked out the window in the direction of the willow tree. He could see her bag, but not her. He left the house and approached his fate. He stood still, unable to formulate a thought as he looked at his pale, lifeless Ginger. He pulled her down and cradled her like a baby as he sat under the willow tree. For a moment, he thought about his previous wife and how he was not able to save her from cancer. He remembered how he mourned for her and lived with a guilt he couldn't shake. He now mourned his second wife, his first true love. He was unable to give, and he knew this. He was unable to pour from an empty cup, a cup he didn't want to admit to her was empty. But he loved her and did not want her to go. Callum pulled Ginger's bag closer and searched it. There, he found her letter. Dear Mr. Munro, please know that this was not done out of spite or anger. I did this for me. I wanted my wings. This earth, this dimension, it is a beautiful place. It is the kingdom of God if you look closely. It is the heaven and hell we are so afraid of. God knows my heart. He knows I have lived, and now it was time to move on. Another existence, another form, my soul was ready to leave this place. While no one else might understand, I know you will. I forgive you for the times you were hurting and could not be present for me. I forgave you a long time ago, so please don't carry that burden. I know what it is like to suffer mentally and be unable to express in words what you are going through. I am right beside you as you read this, hoping you can understand that I will always be with and love you. I told you, in this lifetime and the next. My heart is yours forever, Callum. Not everyone is strong, not everyone can weather storm after storm. I've had a lot, and you were my silver lining. I realized that healing was not about erasing the pain, but about finding a way to live with it while still finding the courage to love oneself. I love myself to know that if I should continue to live, I would not be living for me. I hope you can respect that. Callum, whenever you depart this land, I know our souls will find each other, for that I am certain. But until then, live the life you want to live. Live it without regret and live it knowing that your guardian angel will always be by your side, into infinity. Mrs. Ginger Munro loves you. Callum cried uncontrollably after reading the letter too many times to count. He continued to caress his dead wife into the still of the night. He was comforted by Garfield, who came on top of Ginger and curled up on her frame. Callum searched her bag for a pen. He began to write below her last words. Once he was done, he gathered back the stones and kissed Ginger on the forehead as he rested her frame against the aged tree, Garfield not leaving her side. Dear Ginger, the love of my life. You are the light of my life. In all my darkness you came when I did not deserve you. Love, Ginger, my love. My sweet love, Ginger. You were braver than me. You had more courage to do what I knew I should have done a long time ago. But I didn't, then you came into my life. You were my miracle, and I held on to you. You were my lifeline. You still are. I need you. In this lifetime and the next. My heart alone cannot sustain me here. Please wait for me. Callum found the rope at midnight on his birthday. Unlike his wife, he too found freedom, as their souls became one, under the willow tree.